Smokehouse, baby.
Knock the stick off, man.
We sending out them smoke signals.
Pick
Put
your
hands
square.
on you, boys.
When the bell rings, I'ma put my hands on you. Call your face the helipad, I'ma land on you. Elite striker, put you on your backside. Howdy, I'm from Texas where the ladies don't catfight. They serving up some chicken wings, I ain't talking fast food. Hit you with the guillotine to counteract your last move. Make you go night-night if you don't tap first. I'ma throw the straight right, but you can catch a jab first. Come on, got the smoke that you're looking for. Dishing out the punishment, worse than the book of Job. Take me to the mat if you can't fade the combos. But if you take me down, I'ma play you like a trombone. Oh, it's the Big T at Smokehouse. Got 'em begging me to let the smoke out. If you flex with me, you get choked out. It's the Big T at Smokehouse. Smokehouse, Smokehouse. It's the Big T at Smokehouse. If you flex with me, you get choked out. Yo, y'all already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Shy, aka 12, representing Houston, Texas, of course. But I'm out here chilling in Austin because this is the Big TX Smokehouse, where we talk about nothing but combat sports with a Texas flavor. Today, tonight, it's kind of late. I'm kind of tripping, but tonight we have a special guest. You've seen me interview a couple of professional athletes, but this is going to be my bread and butter. I'm really looking forward to this type of thing because we have here kind of a superstar, but she don't really know it yet because she's going to be something big. Watch what I tell you. We have 7-time All-American. We have a 2019 national champion. That's right, national champion. And she is a junior world team member. You see it on her hoodie right there. Let's see the hoodie. Flash the hoodie for me.
Hoodie U.S. Olympic team trials. I don't compete anymore, but definitely was there to go ahead and watch everybody and support some of the people I trained with. So OTT.
Right on. So let me say her name because I got a little unprofessional. I got ready to get right into it and didn't even tell who she is. We have the talented Miss Jathiya Thomas. What's
Yes,
going
sir.
on?
Not much, man. Not much. Today has been, such a blessing. Things are going pretty well for me. How about yourself?
Oh, that's all good. I'm like drained. I've been running behind my kids. You're probably gonna hear them in the background in a minute. They keep me alive and keep me old, I guess. But yeah, it's cool. That's about it with me. So look here, you have this big beam and smile. You're like you're just full of energy. So what's your story? Let's see. This is Texas. We talking Texas, but you told me before you're actually originally from Baltimore, Maryland.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
How's it? How's Bmore? Like how was it as a home?
Man, Baltimore was definitely different. Definitely not as much space, but not as much driving either. I was very young when we moved. I was still maybe in about middle school age. And so moved from there, moved to Connecticut, New York, Virginia, and then came here to Texas about a decade ago. Best thing ever. Got here, I expected a bunch of cows, horses, cowboys, all types of stuff.
Everybody says that moves to Texas. Everybody.
Yes, East Coast always is like, bro, what is down there? But once we got over here, kind of saw y'all were just like the rest of the world, just moving forward, moving quickly. And I love it. I definitely love it out here.
Yeah, we pretty play in Texas. I be trying to tell them, man. They don't know. I don't know. They be acting like you said. I had a friend back in high school, and this is in the old days, in the 90s. But he's from Jamaica, and he said when his parents told him that they were moving to Texas, he started crying. He was like, because the only thing he knew about Texas was John Wayne and westerns and riding horses. And so I found that pretty funny back then. But it's still, like you said, it's still a common misconception now. People think it's just horses and cowboys, which of course that's Texas culture. The rodeo is still a big deal in Texas.
Yeah.
But we actually we're kind of modern. People don't think so. We're kind of modern. But anyway, let's get to it. You got to Texas in high school. You said, right? You went all 4 years in Texas, right?
Yes, sir. So I got here. I think I started fifth or sixth grade here.
Okay.
I did some of my the schooling here, went to some charter schools.
Yeah.
And then I really started at Morton Ranch consistently. So like I told you, that was one of the first schools I ever went to for more than a year. And so that was my first time really experiencing that consistency of knowing people and seeing the same people, of exploring the opportunities that the school has to offer, and really just getting involved.
Right on. Yeah, I kind of had a similar situation to you, but opposite. I don't know if that can kind of happen at the same time. I had the same, but opposite. I lived in one house my entire life, but I went to 7 schools because yeah, the school district, like for whatever reason, every time they build a new school, they would zone my neighborhood off. And it's like you said, we had just a lot of inconsistency. You know, I have to make new friends every year. I went to 2 elementaries, 3 middle schools, and 2 high schools, all from one address. You know what I mean? So, and we finally, you know, finished off 10th, 11th, and 12th at one school. So it's like you said, I got that consistency later on, you know, later on in my life. So I get what you're saying. So about wrestling, how did you get into wrestling? Like, what was that, a childhood thing, or is it something you kind of grew into, or how did that happen?
Man, good question. So I was a part of a lot of different things in school. I jumped in, joined dance class. I was captain of the step team, SAT club, and I noticed that my brother was doing wrestling, and so I would kind of, you know, go to their practices, watch, look around, but I never really thought it was for me until I started getting into some trouble outside of school, and I was like, look, I need to learn how to defend myself.
Right.
And I jumped in, joined the sport halfway through the season. That was halfway through my junior year, and it really just took off for me from there.
In high school?
Yes, sir. Halfway through junior year, joined in. I didn't compete that year, but senior year I competed all districts, all regional, third at state. So I definitely had that time to learn the technique and really become an athlete to contend with.
That's what tripped. That's kind of was. That's why I made that face. It kind of tripped me out. Like I look back at your accomplishments that you sent me, and it's like, hold on. I had to make sure I was reading that right. Yeah, you won district.
Yeah.
You won regionals. You got third in state, and you only wrestled that year. Like you only.
Yes.
And so, golly, that's amazing. So I actually had an interview yesterday or the day before with a former boxing champion from San Antonio, and I had the same reaction because he told me that he didn't start it. His name is Jesse James Leha, by the way, if you want to look him up. But he didn't start boxing until age 19, and it blew my mind because I'm like, his father was a professional boxer. He, you know, he grew up, you know, in a boxing family, and he was also a world champion, and he fought like Oscar De La Hoya and all these guys, and he got that far and only started boxing at age 19. Usually, you know, guys, you know, anybody, you know, men and women start boxing when they're little, 7, 8, 9, sometimes even before that, depending on if boxing is in the family. So you had a brother, well, you have a brother that was a wrestler, and that got you interested in it, and you got in there, and I mean, come on. You won this, so you had to be able to fight before that thing. I mean, you can't just tell me, oh, you just started wrestling and all of a sudden. So your brother was roughing you up or something, right? Something happened for you to be able to do all of that.
Oh yeah. All the time. Me and my brothers, all the time. It definitely was a thing. And I grew up on heads all the time. And you know, even to this day, my brothers are my ride or dies, but it was definitely, I was definitely getting into some stuff outside of school.
Okay.
And that's why I recommend this sport for people who are going through things, who may need to look into anger management, who want to look into look, I'm doing a little bit too much. I'm going into ISS, OSS. I'm getting suspended detention, stuff like that. Maybe I need to look into an outlet that will allow me to get some of this pent up energy out. And so that's what it really did for me. It literally allowed me to beat up people legally without getting in trouble. And I was loving it.
And get rewarded for it.
Oh yeah, rewarded. That's amazing. That was amazing. Yes, sir.
Getting medals and having people like really prop you up, like you really whooped her ass.
Yes, sir. Every time.
That's what's up, man. So let's say, okay, you went through high school, you got third in state, then you make it to, I missed some of what you were saying. My screen froze up about your brothers. I really want to hear, you got to tell me about how your brothers whooped your ass, because I know they did. Give me like just a really quick story.
Man. I can I can remember a time that we had a box of pizza in the house.
Yeah.
And I think somebody called the last piece and I wasn't for it. So I ate the piece, stuffed it in my mouth and ate it. He was pissed. I mean, and immediately we started throwing hands, and that's obviously not the best thing to fight over pizza, but that's how, in my household, it was quick. It was an instant. You had to be ready.
Yeah.
My mom was a hustler. Both of my parents have been married a few times. And so my mom being one of those women that had primary custody of us, she was working a lot. And so I remember my mom hustling. I mean, working 2 jobs and having a side hustle, like putting in work. And so she wasn't always around, meaning that we had a lot of space and opportunity to cut up. Yeah. And that's when all this fighting and craziness happened, because my mama was not going to let that happen when she was there. So
for sure.
all this craziness kind of happened when she was putting in work for us. But I'm happy that, I had that experience, because it opens my eyes to what to do and what to avoid moving forward.
Right on. So you and your brother still tight?
Oh yeah. To this day, my brothers live 15 minutes away from me. One lives 5, the other one lives 15. Yeah. We like this.
That's what's up. Yeah. I usually notice, families that come up like that, where, y'all have fights when you're kids and all this, that, and the other, but it's really bonding as well. It kind of brings you closer together. It seems crazy that the siblings that fought a lot ended up really tight, older.
Yeah.
But, I see that a lot. So that's pretty cool. So, okay, let's get to college. First of all, you get to college, and how is it different from high school once you reach the college ranks? Because you really didn't wrestle that long in high school. How was it? How was did you get initiated? How did that happen?
Man, so it was very different. It was going from a very much team environment where everybody was loving, everybody kind of really just hugged and wanted everybody to succeed, to a dogfight, right? You're going into battle. These are girls where this is their life dream. Some of their families can't pay for school, and this is their way of getting through school. You're going to some of these girls that have Olympic dreams, that have some of these high goals, and they've been the top dog in their area for a long time. And so you're coming in looking to take their position, and it's a fight. It's a fight within the team. It's a fight once you get to the competitions. Every single level is a fight. And so I had such an excellent experience at Wayland, because as soon as I got in, I got to know the girls in my weight class. And so I went that extra mile to understand, who is it that I'll be competing against? And make some of those partnerships with people that were going to make me better. So I wasn't one of those athletes that saw the girl that was better than me and would run away. I would find the girl that's better than me and practice with her every single day.
That's smart.
What I. Yes, sir. And she beat me up the entire year. I literally, to this day, and it's my best friend now, literally, Jathiya Mensa, my best friend, her sister, Tamara Mensa, just won the Olympic team trials. Cool. Literally till this day, I will still brag about this one takedown I got on her the entire year. But I brag and she gets pissed. And it's just amazing to see, like, bro, 6 years after, 5 years after, you still upset?
No, it's competition. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I graduated from high school in '95, and we can sit down and have me and my buddies back in the day that played ball together. We still have those conversations, and the emotions get right back up from where it was 20 something years ago. No, if you're a competitor, it don't go nowhere.
It don't. And it's transitional, right? Mm-hmm. So being an athlete or being a competitor doesn't just apply to one aspect of life.
Absolutely.
It's something that transitions into other aspects of life. So even if, some of the viewers are not wrestlers, even if some of the viewers are not collegiate athletes, still take care of your physical fitness. Still make sure that you're getting into competitions, that you're challenging yourself, that you're pushing your limits and pushing into your potential, because that stuff is definitely going to transition into life.
Absolutely. It's an attitude. And my listeners, they're going to probably say, here you go again. But it always comes up. I don't even bring it up. You brought it up. I call it the workman's attitude. You know what I mean? It's an attitude. Are you a worker or are you not? Are you are you a competitor? Are you going to let life beat you down? Like you said, it can be the job. It can be family issues. It can be your health. It can be whatever. You know what I mean? is it going to beat you down, or are you going to stand up to it? You know what I mean? And you might get knocked down. Like you said, that girl whooped you the whole year, but you got that takedown. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and eventually, you know how they always say, iron sharpens iron. You ended up winning a national championship. And I guarantee you that wrestling with that person that was better than you, that whooped your ass that whole year, made you tougher and more skillful and more mindful of moves and counter moves and all of that stuff when you went for your national championship run.
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell me about that national championship run. How was it? I mean, you know, like walk me through it.
Yeah. So it's crazy. And I'll start from the point where I've already gotten 5 of my All-American titles, right? So I'm already a 5-time All-American. Going into nationals, 2019 just started. And so our actual national season starts in the spring semester.
Okay.
Wrestling is one of those sports, it is year round competitions. Sure. And I was one of those people, I stayed at college and trained every single summer. So I never left. It never stopped.
Right.
So I'm 5 All-American titles in, right? Somebody could say they're a 5-time All-American. I know people that would stop there. But I go into nationals, the first nationals, I'm winning every single match, and I get to one girl, and this is the girl that I see at the final nationals where she beats me, right? So already I'm going for third. I win my third match, I get my 6th All-American title. And so I get third at that first nationals. Okay. The second nationals, right? So to me, I'm like, all right, I got third, you know, I went up against her, I'm a chill. I slacked off. And you know what? My coaches and my teammates pushed me. And I'm cutting to a weight class that is already uncomfortable for me. My natural weight is about 130. I'm cutting to 116s. So this is about 14, 15 pounds away from just walk around weight. Yeah. And wrestling and combat sports is one of those things where you're going against grain, you're going against nature to make the weight, to then be able to compete well in the weight. And so, I mean, cutting the weight was a battle. So we're flying out to the tournament. This is crazy. I haven't even told anybody about this. So we're flying out to the tournament, right?
All right. So we're gonna have a world premiere right now. All right, here we go.
World premiere. Here we go. Y'all ready? Ready. So we're flying out to the tournament. We get to Colorado. There's a blizzard. Every single plane stuck to the floor. Nobody's flying anywhere. We are literally sleeping in the airport for hours. Everybody's cutting weight. So everybody's grumpy, hungry. There's food everywhere. Everybody's walking around with food in the airport. You're stuck. Ain't nothing else to do but go buy some, go get something to eat, you know, buy whatever. Right. So we're cutting weight in the airport. I'm getting a couple of the teammates. We're grabbing them around. I know some of these girls got maybe 3, 4, 5 pounds to cut. You know, I know I have a couple pounds to cut. So I'm literally taking my teammates and we're going to the airport stairwell to go cut weight. We're going to the airport side to go hit some sprints and do some partner stuff so that we make this weight regardless of if we're going or not. And mind you, I didn't even want to be on the trip in the first place. So we already have this one obstacle, and life is funny. It's going to throw you all types of obstacles, right? So we already have this one obstacle. Then we finally get on, first we stayed in an Airbnb. So now we have to stay in town in Colorado for an extra day. So coach makes the adjustments. He's excellent. Coach makes the adjustments. He gets us an Airbnb. He makes sure we have transportation. We get over to the Airbnb, sleep the night. People are still cutting weight. This is already an adverse situation. Nobody expects this. And so we finally get back to the airport, get back on the plane, fly out. Soon as I get there, my luggage is missing. So my luggage has my wrestling shoes. I've had shoulder surgery, which is a whole nother story. So it has my shoulder brace. It has my knee pads. It has everything that in my head, I believed I needed to be a success. Crazy. So God really was like, look, I'm going to drop you here and you're going to see what you're worth. And we get to the event, right? So we get there, we're rolling around, competing, preparing the night before, making weight. Now goes into the sports psychology aspect of preparing for an event and getting your mentality right and all that fun stuff. And so I won't go into detail. That might be for another day, but
okay.
We get there, we're at the event, we went through a blizzard, right? We went through a snowstorm, we're driving up through snow, we finally get there, we're safe, we're in the facility cutting weight, we're in the hotel, I make weight, next day, ready to go. I tech every single girl until the last match, where I'm meeting up with this girl that beat me the last time, right? So this is somebody where it's like a psychological game. I'm sure some of these people who are watching the podcast have gone through it, where you've gone against the battle, where you've beaten against the door, where you've gone against the obstacle and you lost. You took an L, you fell. And you have to pick yourself back up and come back at it with 100% of your effort. And so that was definitely a mental trick that I had to walk myself through, and have that mental strength and capacity to be able to work past. And so utilizing the techniques that I've learned, just being an athlete, utilizing the techniques that I've learned over these last 4 years, I was able to sufficiently get myself in a mindset of just having fun. And it's crazy, just having fun. Regardless of the gear, regardless of the winter storm, regardless of not wanting to be here or not, I made the weight, I showed up. Regardless of my attitude, I showed up and came ready to battle. And I mean, that match in itself was, I mean, to this day, I still watch it. But all in all, it was definitely a good match. And I won. It was a moment of just disbelief that I went through so much, and was able to come out on top on a tournament that I couldn't even build myself to believe that this was possible for me. But just putting that trust into my teammates, putting that trust into my coaches, putting that trust into my capabilities, I came out as a winner. And so, man, thinking back, I'm so happy that I had that experience. I couldn't have imagined it a better way.
And you can take that with you for the rest of your life, like you said, into every situation that you come across. So that's wonderful. So okay, you standing on the podium. I don't know how they do it. Do they play your songs and all that? How do they do that when you get your medal?
Oh, it was amazing, right? So I'm standing on the podium. I look to the side. She crying. I look to the other side. The other girls that I beat, or to get up to here, they're all standing there, and it's just like a breath out. I don't know if you meditate, but I'm heavy in meditation. I definitely do a lot of the mental work to make myself a success on the mat or off the mat. And it was like, I envisioned this, right? Like I did the visualization. I saw myself getting my hand raised. I put myself in that position mentally. So when it physically happened, I was like, whoa, like that energy that I attracted, it was like, whoa, like if I could do this, what else can I do? What am I capable of? What am I, like I underestimated my potential, and I'm way up here. Imagine where I could be if I truly believed in myself. And so, man, it was such an experience.
Absolutely. The power of belief, of self-belief, it's I don't know, a lot of people, you have religion, you have, more of the scientific side, and however you want to look at it, whatever your thing is, if you have a certain amount of self-belief, even if it's the power of a higher power within yourself, whatever it is, self-belief is so powerful because everything is between the ears. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you said, it's like when you decided to just let your shoulders relax a little bit and just go out there and have some fun, you ended up getting a W, when you could have been all tense and overthinking. I had the same issues when I ran track. Football, I never really had the problem. Football was just so fun to me that I didn't, I didn't really tense up that often because I could, it's like wrestling or boxing. I could run into somebody and knock that tension out. But track, I used to have the same issues. I want to win so bad. And I try so hard to, I used to make that face like, and my shoulders all like that. And I ran horribly. But when I was consciously just said, you know what, don't worry about winning the race. Just race. You know what I mean? Just have fun. You've been running since you were a kid. Literally at track practice, I'm country as I'll get out. I would take my shoes off and I would be at track practice barefooted, running on the track, racing. Like everybody else had spikes. I'm racing barefooted. And so I just went back to that mentality. Just pretend you're back in the neighborhood, you're barefooted, and you and your boys are just, running down the street, and I would loosen up and, like you said, just have some fun. And so that's a great analysis. So yeah, so you told me that your Ramadan was here, and I know, from having, Muslim friends that they practice Ramadan. It's like a month, but I don't really know how to describe it. How do you describe? It's not a holiday, so how do you describe that to people that don't know?
So Ramadan is like a 30-day intensive spiritual boot camp.
Okay.
It is literally the holiest month of the year, what we believe to be the holiest month of the year, where extra prayer and putting in some of that extra work to be our best selves, and to do more for the afterlife and for heaven. And so it's not simply fasting, which is more of what people are aware of. People are aware that Muslims stop eating and stop drinking while the sun is up, and then they can eat and drink while the sun is down. But it's more of a passionate spiritual building connection time with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so it in a little ball, that's what Ramadan is.
Okay, yeah, I lost some of the beginning, but you came back in and kept it going. Yeah, so let me ask you about that. So were you always a Muslim? Were you born into a Muslim family, or is this something that you converted into later?
So the question you asked was, or the last question that I heard you ask was I born Muslim? Is this something that I joined into? And so I'm born and raised Muslim.
Awesome. Okay.
My mom coming from Nigeria, and it's crazy. A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of Africans are Muslims. Islam is very, very, very much a huge religion in the country of Africa and overseas. And so in America, it's definitely looked at as a little different, but worldwide, really thinking about it, we're definitely one of the top 3 religions.
Absolutely.
So
it's huge.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are Muslim. So, that's kind of what sparked my interest when you said you were in Ramadan. So I was like, oh, okay, let's talk about that a little bit. So I'm also a Pan-Africanist, and I'm not really gonna get into that with a lot of people right now. But basically, I'm a Black man that was born in America that really loves, honors, and respects my African roots, and to the fact that most of us don't really know where we can place our direct lineages from. Like your mother is from Nigeria, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that it's like, oh no, that's my people. So what are your Yoruba or Igbo or something like that? Which
Yoruba.
Okay, so see, you have a direct connection, and so people like myself that don't, I took a blood test, but it gives you this big wide range of the different places where our DNA kind of settles. So of course, I find an interesting. I find it interesting to just see the different cultures across the continent and how it relates. And a lot of people don't know, but a lot of things that we do in America as Black people, we actually brought those things from Africa, and it didn't get lost. We lost it in language. We don't really say the same words. Some words still remain, but excuse me, for the most part, like even the way we practice religions, it's the way that we did it in Africa. And, we still do it. We just don't know that that's how we did it in Africa. So anyway, I just found it interesting that when you brought that up. So I'm talking right now because your screen froze up. So can you hear me still?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, cool. I kind of kept it just going just in case, but
no.
How did you growing up a Muslim, did that help you in any way in wrestling?
Man, yes, 100%. So growing up Muslim, I wore hijab until I was about maybe middle school, around the time that 9/11 concerns were very big, and middle school was, of course, past 2001 for me. But in Houston, it was definitely more of a hot topic. And so I wore hijab consistently up until about middle school. And then I was off and on. And now, as you can see, I'm not a hijabi actively. But I will say that being a Muslim and growing up with the discipline that the religion provides, the discipline of praying 5 times a day, the discipline of fasting and restraining, literally going against the grain again, restraining yourself from food and water, literally in submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just the discipline of being a Muslim and standing tall in who you are, regardless of what the majority of Americans are doing, that transferred heavily to wrestling. Because when you think about it, being in your stance, snapping someone's head down, making sure your position and pressure is tight, those things take discipline. And so having that background of discipline from birth definitely helped me succeed in a much quicker fashion when it came to disciplining myself on the mat.
Oh, right now you just have a really big smile on your face and the screen is froze again. So at least it's a big smile. You're like sitting like this when it froze up. So I could just see this big smile. So like, well, at least we have a big smile. So yeah, I think that's awesome. I really do. You know, that you're able, that your spirituality is a practical thing that you can apply to all aspects of your life. And I feel like whatever your spirituality is, we all don't have to agree with, you know, the name of God, or if there is a God. You know, it's up to you, and it's your, you know, your mode. But is it practical? Does it help you go throughout life, you know, as opposed to just preparing you for the afterlife? You know what I mean? Like, what about this time we're dealing with each other right now? How does it help you? So apparently, you know, it done you some good, you know, good job to your parents too, for instilling that in you. We're going to go ahead and cut it short because like it's starting to go out a lot more.
Okay.
But I really would like to have you back on again, just to talk life. You know what I mean? Because you have a lot of insight, you have a lot of energy and a lot of zeal, and I think the conversation was going into a really, really, really good direction. And so I really enjoyed this. I'm glad you came on. I appreciate the time that you gave me tonight. And tell Paige, if you talk to her anytime soon, that I said thank you for bringing you my way. I'm actually going to be talking to Paige on Friday. I'm gonna interview her on Friday. Yeah, so this was great. This was great. You're a wonderful young lady. You have great energy. I believe that you're you know, a great role model from what I can tell through this for you know, the younger ladies, but younger men too. You know, I mean, we can all use these principles as far as you know, applying it to life and all of that. So
it's been such a pleasure. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, I want to, but I want to reschedule to where we can actually talk about it again. Because like I said, it sounds like you have a lot of layers, and we can just have you know, another really good conversation.
Yes,
I'm going to make sure next time that I have a hard connection to my router, so we're not getting these interruptions. I really enjoyed this, and I'm glad we had the time to talk. So, any last words for you? This is your finishing move. What's your finishing move? What you got to say?
Follow me on my socials. I think it's going in and out, but follow me on my socials. IGJ_TIA1, Facebook, Jathiya Thomas. Again, follow me. Let's connect. Reach out to me. Message me. I'm super friendly, so feel free to reach out. And let's do big things. Let's do big things.
Right on.
Yes, sir.
You got me wanting to go out and exercise or something right now. You so full of energy.
Yeah.
I'm getting some of this energy over here, man. I really hate that we had these connection issues. Yeah, do something for me because I'm not doing any tonight.
Got you. Oh yeah.
Jathiya, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming into the Smokehouse, giving us some of your energy. So we're going to get up out of here. Everybody, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow her on her social media platforms. She gave you the information a little earlier. Subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, all of those things. You know, everything y'all got to do, man. We finna get out of here because this internet hating on us, man. We got too much shine up in here. We shining too hard, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I want to just say peace and love to everybody from the Big TX Smokehouse. It's your boy Shot, aka 12 Jathiya. You be blessed. Thank you again. Peace and blessings.
All right.
Oh, it's the Big TX Smokehouse. Got 'em begging me to let the smoke out. If you flex with me, you get choked down. It's the Big T at Smokehouse. Smokehouse, Smokehouse. It's the Big T at Smokehouse. If you flex with me, you get choked down.